Hey guys, welcome to the Materialize CSS from Scratch with 5 Projects course. In this course, you'll learn all about the Materialize CSS framework so that you can build really great looking UIs and websites. Now, this is not a design theory course or anything like that. After the first section, you'll be spending all of your time in a text editor building things with this great framework. So it's a very hands-on course. Now, before taking this course, you aren't expected to know anything about Materialize. We're starting from absolute scratch. If you do know a little bit about the framework, you're going to learn just about everything else. And if you do already know Materialize, you've used it before, we have 5 real-world great-looking projects for you to complete. So even if you wanted to skip the learning sections and go right to the projects, you could do that as well. Alright, so what should you know before taking this course? Now, you should know basic HTML and CSS. That's really all you need to know: tags and styles, basic layout, etc. You don't technically need to know JavaScript and jQuery, but it will help you a bit because Materialize has a lot of great JavaScript widgets. Now, in most cases, it's just a matter of initializing them with a line of code and then adding some attributes or classes. But in some of the projects, we'll be writing some custom JavaScript and jQuery, but nothing too difficult. So if you're not familiar with JavaScript, you'll be just fine. Okay, you'll even learn some. And then obviously, if you do know a framework like Bootstrap, you already understand the whole scope of what a UI framework is, and that can obviously be helpful. But of course, that's not needed. Now, as far as what you will learn, you'll learn the entire Materialize CSS framework from start to finish when it comes to all the CSS and JavaScript components. But what I think is worth even more than that is that you'll learn to structure web pages and UIs. And I like to break things into HTML5 sections and organize them in a way that's easy to understand and scale if needed. So if you wanted to add another section, we build it in a way that makes that really easy to do. We'll also be adding some custom JavaScript and jQuery stuff, like a basic to-do list in our admin theme. We'll have some Google Maps integration, things like that. And then in the last project, we're going to use Sass, which is a CSS preprocessor that allows us to use variables and dynamic features in our CSS. Okay, now as far as the learning curriculum goes, after the intro videos, we'll start on the Materialize Sandbox. And for those of you that took my Bootstrap 4 course, it's pretty much the same thing that we did there. We're going to complete that, and we'll move on to our 5 projects, and I'll show you a preview of what those are in a minute. Okay, also all the code is included in the course. Now, as far as the sandbox goes, what this is something I put together that is kind of like a custom learning UI. It has predefined menu items for each section, and some pages have some of the core HTML already created, so all we have to do is add the Materialize stuff. This really lessens the painful typing of stuff that you already know. And then once this is finished, you'll have it to look back on if you need to know any class names or how to initialize the carousel, anything like that. You'll have this really good resource to look back on. Alright, so once that's done, we're going to move on to our first project, which is called Travelville. And it's basically a theme for a travel agency that uses the carousel slider. It uses autocomplete, cards, icons, and a bunch of other stuff. And as you can see, all projects are completely responsive, and they all look great on mobile devices as well. Okay, next we have a theme called Quazoo, which is a cloud hosting theme. I got the idea for this from Heroku, although it's not nearly as in-depth, but the color scheme is similar as well as the content. Okay, this theme will have 3 separate pages rather than just one landing page. We'll also use a carousel slider for the testimonials sections, some tabs on the solution pages, and some other stuff. Next, we're going to build an admin theme called Madmin, or Material Admin, and this is our most interactive project as far as the JavaScript and jQuery. We're actually going to have these numbers here count from 0 up. They're going to animate. We're also going to add a simple chart here. So this is from Canvas.js. We're just going to add some dummy data here. We're also going to make this to-dos list. You can't really see it down here, but it's a quick to-dos list. We're going to make this function, so we'll be able to add to-dos and delete them and so on. We're going to use modals. We'll also have a preloader so that it takes 1 second for each page to load, and it'll show the little spinner graphic. So it's going to be a very interactive project. Alright, so the next one is going to be a full screen landing page called BizLand, which is a business consulting theme. We'll be using Scroll Spy so that we can just click on a link here and it will basically animate us down to the section that we want. We'll also be using a Google map for the background under the contact form. And then the last project, called Galapier, is going to be a graphic design portfolio, and we're going to be using Sass with this project. Okay, we're going to compile our Sass with a GUI tool called Koala. We're also going to use Scrollfire, which will allow us to scroll down, and we'll have each project here appear as we scroll down. Alright guys, so I really hope you enjoy this course. I put a lot of time and effort into the projects. I wanted to create themes that looked professional and looked like something that you would really create for a client. Alright, so let's jump in and get started. In the next video, I just want to take a little bit of time to talk about exactly what Materialize CSS is, as well as what material design is. Okay, so I will see you in the next lecture.